What if you had lived during the Devonian period? This question often captivates the imagination of those fascinated by the intricate history of our planet. Many of us have pondered the notion. If humans had appeared on Earth earlier in its history, would they have been able to survive in these vastly different epochs? To consider the Devonian period, we must first recognize that living conditions during different geological periods of our planet's life were radically unlike those to which modern humans are accustomed. Continents were located in different positions on the globe, and the weather patterns were disparate, resulting in diverse flora and fauna. Even the fundamental composition of the water and air we breathe was distinct from what we experience today. We've previously discussed the possible scenarios for human survival during the age of dinosaurs. However, this time we're embarking on a journey back to an even earlier era, the Devonian period, often referred to as the Age of Fish. This period spanned an astonishing 56 million years, during which time significant transformations occurred in the landscape and in the diversity of living organisms. If you are interested in the fascinating history of life on Earth and wish to be the first to hear about new video releases related to this topic, we highly recommend subscribing to our channel. Here, you can immerse yourself in learning about various scientific theories that pertain to different stages of the planet's formation. Moreover, our subscribers are encouraged to share their opinions in the comments section, allowing you to interact and express your views regarding our production to the creators of this channel. Now, let's delve deeper into the Devonian period. It is essential to note that this era is characterized by the remarkable development of life forms, particularly in aquatic environments. During this epoch, the underwater world exhibited a level of biodiversity that has rarely been matched in subsequent geological periods. The oceans were teeming with a vast array of species, including various types of fish, arthropods, mollusks, sponges, corals, and polyps. No other era has witnessed such a plethora of fish varieties and other marine life, each adapted to thrive in its specific environment. As we explore the Devonian period, it is fascinating to consider how the conditions at the beginning of this era differed greatly from those at its end. In light of this, let's embark on a comparative analysis of these time periods to ascertain where humans would have fit most comfortably had they existed during this epoch. To conduct this analysis, we will examine the geological, climatological, atmospheric, and even culinary aspects of life during the Devonian period. Understanding these factors can shed light on the challenges and opportunities that would have defined human existence in this dynamic and evolving environment. The geological characteristics of the Devonian period are marked by intense volcanic activity and the relentless movement of tectonic plates beneath the Earth's crust. At the onset of this period, there were two primary landmasses that dominated the surface of the Earth, Laurasia and Gondwana. These continents were situated in the southern hemisphere, and their geographic locations played a crucial role in shaping the climate and ecological diversity of the time. As the Devonian period progressed, these continents underwent significant changes, culminating in their eventual merging into a single supercontinent known as Pangaea. The ongoing movements of the Earth's crust during this period were responsible for the formation of new mountains and islands, contributing to the ever-changing landscape of our planet. For instance, the present-day British Isles and the North American Appalachian Mountains were formed during this transformative time. The tectonic shifts, collisions, and geological upheavals were frequently accompanied by volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and earthquakes. However, after the final unification of the continents, this intense geological activity began to subside. From a geological perspective, it becomes clear that humans would have found themselves living more comfortably in the central parts of Eurasia or Gondwana. During the early stages of the Devonian period, the coastal areas were far less hospitable. In fact, moving to the coast would have been more advantageous only after the continents had fully merged into Pangaea. In the early Devonian period, all life was concentrated near the coastlines, which were rich in biodiversity. The central lands of this epoch, in contrast, were largely barren wastelands, lacking the lush vegetation and wildlife that would later characterize the landscape. Flora and fauna * by the end of the Devonian period, the entire land surface was enveloped in vast tropical forests, creating a rich and vibrant ecosystem. The trees that thrived during this era were of enormous size, towering over the landscape. Structurally, these ancient trees bore more resemblance to ferns than to the trees we are familiar with today. Notably, they did not reproduce through seeds, but instead utilized spores for propagation. Despite this reproductive limitation, these plants achieved remarkable heights, with some species growing several dozen meters tall. Fossil discoveries reveal the existence of giant ferns with trunks reaching up to 30 meters or 98 feet in height. Such towering flora would have provided early humans with ample fuel and building materials. However, it is crucial to recognize that the plants of the Devonian period had yet to evolve into forms that bore harvestable fruits. Consequently, the idea of farming would have been irrelevant. The portions of plants that could be foraged would have served primarily as seasoning or alternative sources of vitamins, rather than providing sustenance. Foraging for food through hunting during the Devonian period would have posed significant challenges as well. The terrestrial landscape was primarily inhabited by insects and arthropods, many of which were much larger than their modern counterparts. Among these arthropods were some of the most dangerous terrestrial predators of the era. Not only did crustaceans grow to the size of modern dogs, but they also possessed formidable weapons in the form of powerful claws. Furthermore, scientists believe that Devonian porcupines may have been poisonous, with their stingers functioning similarly to modern scorpions. While it is intriguing to contemplate the culinary possibilities of this era, it is also important to question how tasty and nutritious these potential prey items would have been. Interestingly, scorpions are considered a delicacy in certain Southeast Asian countries, suggesting that some arthropods may have been edible, albeit potentially perilous to capture. However, it was during this transformative period that fish began to explore terrestrial environments. As fish evolved, they transitioned into amphibians and eventually into fully fledged reptiles. These early reptiles, however, had yet to attain the enormous sizes associated with later dinosaurs. By the end of the Devonian period, humans would have had the opportunity to consume creatures resembling modern monitor lizards, which could have provided a source of protein. Additionally, the tidal zones of the planet's seas and oceans were rich with mollusks and trilobites, which could have significantly supplemented the human diet. Mollusks from this period bore striking similarities to their modern counterparts in terms of appearance and lifestyle, suggesting that their meat would have had comparable consistency and nutritional value. In fact, the extinct trilobites likely tasted similar to crab, making them a potential delicacy for early humans. The most efficient means of obtaining food during the Devonian period would undoubtedly have been fishing. The seas and oceans of this era were home to a vast array of armored and cartilaginous fish, presenting a diverse hunting ground for those skilled in fishing techniques. By mastering the art of fishing, one could potentially alleviate the burden of hunger forever. However, it was essential for early humans to be mindful of the dangers lurking beneath the waves. The most formidable predators of the Devonian period resided in the ocean. Massive, armored creatures like Dunkleosteus or the 10-foot clam Camarasaurus could easily have mistaken a person in the water or a boatload of fishermen for their next meal. If such an encounter were to occur, survival chances would have been slim. Moreover, one must not forget the multitude of prehistoric sharks and rays, which frequently fell victim to these oceanic giants. The climate during the Devonian period was characterized by warmth and humidity. At the beginning of the period, the average temperature hovered around 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit, providing a comfortable environment for the proliferation of life. However, as the period progressed, temperatures gradually dropped to approximately 25 degrees Celsius, (77 degrees Fahrenheit) toward the end. Interestingly, we can still find regions on Earth today that exhibit similar climatic conditions. People have lived in these areas for extended periods without encountering serious challenges. Nonetheless, the conclusion of the Devonian period was marked by significant climatic shifts, culminating in sharp cooling. This change raised the possibility of an impending ice age, which could have posed a severe threat to the survival of any humans existing during that time. Many scientists agree that this drastic climatic shift is one of the primary reasons for the extinction of nearly every living creature that existed in the Devonian period. Atmosphere *, another contributing factor to the mass extinction events of this period, may have been a notable change in the composition of the breathable atmosphere. At the beginning of the Devonian period, there was a significant concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This high level of carbon dioxide created a greenhouse effect that contributed to the era's hot climate. However, as plant life began to flourish on land, there was a marked increase in the release of oxygen into the atmosphere. The oceans, too, were experiencing a takeover by green algae, which produced substantial amounts of oxygen. Unfortunately, many organisms were unable to adapt quickly enough to the rapidly changing gas compositions in both air and water. By the end of the Devonian period, the oceans were virtually barren, lacking the diversity of life that had characterized them earlier. Conclusion *, the decline in the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide ultimately led to a reduction in the greenhouse effect, resulting in a significant cooling of the planet's climate. This drastic shift ushered in another ice age, leaving us to wonder whether humans, had they existed in the Devonian period, would have been able to adapt to such a volatile environment. Even today, there are regions on Earth where it is impossible for humans to survive without the right knowledge and skills. An ill-equipped person can easily perish due to exposure, lack of water, food scarcity, or predatory animals. This reality holds true in circumpolar regions, deserts, tropical jungles, and other underdeveloped areas. In the Devonian period, individuals would have encountered a world completely unlike our own, governed by its own set of laws and rules. The conclusions drawn from the exploration of the Devonian period suggest that, theoretically, humans could have survived. However, their survival would have depended on the specific time and place they inhabited. The ability to learn skills and acquire knowledge relevant to their environment would have been paramount for survival. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth exploration of the Devonian period. We hope you found this video insightful and thought-provoking. In our future videos, we will continue to explore the possibility of human survival in other epochs and discuss the trials that await mankind as we contemplate our planet's future.